You don't become great by accident. You don't wake up one morning suddenly disciplined, sharp, focused, powerful. You don't stumble into a better life. You build it, piece by piece, choice by choice, day by day. And for most people, that's the part they never want to hear. That greatness is not one breakthrough moment, but thousands of small moments stacked quietly, intentionally, relentlessly. If you've been drifting, if you've been stuck in cycles of good intentions and weak follow-through, if you've been waiting for the perfect chapter of life to begin before you begin, then this audiobook, How to Get Better Every Single Day, is your turning point. Because in the next hour, you're going to discover something life-changing. The difference between the person you are and the person you want to become is built in the smallest hour of your day. In this audiobook, you will learn why 1% improvement a day is enough to transform your entire identity, how to break the mental habits that keep you stuck in almost, how to follow through on the promises you made to yourself yesterday, how to turn effort into identity, identity into momentum, and momentum into mastery. How to stop wasted time, wasted energy, and wasted potential before it steals one more year from you. And how to build a life where you don't hope to be better. You become better, deliberately, daily, repeatedly. Let me give you a line to carry with you throughout this audiobook. Small steps done daily beat big steps done once. Plant that sentence somewhere deep inside your mind, because everything you're about to hear will grow from that truth. Now, let's step into Chapter 1, the chapter that begins every transformation. The chapter most people never master. Dear friend, you are definitely on the right track if you are watching this video. Like, subscribe, and write in the comments which topic or problem concerns you the most. We promise to prepare a professional video explanation at your request. Chapter 1. The first rule of daily growth. Show up anyway. Every day before the world distracts you, before your phone pulls you into someone else's priorities, before doubt, hesitation, or fatigue can convince you to wait. You have a choice. You can show up, or you can lie to yourself. And the difference between those two choices is the difference between a person who grows and a person who stays exactly where they are. You don't get better every day because you feel good every day. You get better because you stop letting your feelings choose your actions. That's the real secret. Not motivation, not hype, not inspiration, discipline, repetition, identity. Growth begins the second you stop needing the perfect mood to do the important thing. Think about this. How many goals have you delayed simply because you didn't feel like it that day? How many opportunities passed because the moment didn't feel right? How many times did you tell yourself you'd start tomorrow, but tomorrow looked exactly like today? Here's a truth that will sting, but it will save you. Your feelings are terrible decision makers. Victory belongs to those who act independent of mood, independent of motivation, independent of convenience. The people who change their lives aren't the ones who wake up inspired. They're the ones who wake up committed. They show up when it's boring. They show up when it's inconvenient. They show up when it's frustrating, uncomfortable, or unclear. And that act alone, the act of showing up when you least want to, is what rewires your identity. Every time you do it, you send a message to your mind. I don't quit. I don't delay. I don't negotiate with weakness. That becomes your new normal, your new standard, your new self-image. And once your identity shifts, your results follow effortlessly. Showing up is the hardest part, yes. But it is also the part that multiplies everything else. One day becomes two. Two becomes a streak. A streak becomes momentum. Momentum becomes confidence. And confidence becomes transformation. But it always starts the same way. With one decision. Show up today. Even if you don't feel ready. Especially if you don't feel ready. Because that moment, the moment where your mind says, don't, and you still do, is the exact moment your life changes direction. If this resonates already, if a line has hit you hard, Pause later and hit like or drop a comment. Not for me, but as a promise to yourself that you will not drift through another month of your life unconsciously. Now, let's move deeper, because showing up is the foundation, but what you do once you show up is what determines how far you rise. And that brings us into Chapter 2, Tiny Wins, Compound Power. There is a reason daily improvement feels slow, because you're comparing today's effort to yesterday's effort instead of comparing your entire trajectory. Most people quit because they can't see progress quickly. They forget that progress isn't a moment, it's a math formula. A simple one. Small wins x time. Massive transformation. If you improve your life by just 1% today, not 50%, not 20%, not 10%, but 1%, you activate something unstoppable. The compound effect. This is the force responsible for every great achievement. Financial freedom, mastery of a skill, a strong, disciplined body, a sharp, focused mind, a calm, confident, emotional life. And the compound effect does not reward intensity. It rewards consistency. Think of it like this. If you put a single drop of water on a stone, nothing happens. But drops, repeated daily, they carve through mountains. Not because they're powerful, but because they're persistent. Your habits are the same. One workout doesn't change your body. One calm conversation doesn't heal a relationship. One focused hour doesn't change your career, but doing it daily, that rewrites your reality. Here is what most people get wrong. They try to make big changes instead of small, consistent ones. They sprint into a new habit with intensity, burn out, and go back to zero. You're not here to sprint, you're here to build. And builders take their time. Builders repeat. Builders show up even when progress is invisible. This is the mindset shift that separates a dreamer from the achiever. My job today is not to transform my life. My job today is to improve it, even slightly. Small wins are powerful because they are sustainable. They don't drain you, they don't intimidate you, they don't require perfect circumstances. They fit into your life, every day, without resistance. A 10-minute walk, a single paragraph written, one drawer organized, 10 pages read, one difficult conversation started, a healthier meal chosen, 2 minutes of stillness, one distraction removed. These tiny actions don't look dramatic, but they build the traits that build your entire future. Self-respect, self-mastery, consistency, identity. That's why the most successful people in any field don't focus on changing their entire life at once. They focus on tightening the smallest screw, because tightening the small screw strengthens the entire machine. Now, as we head into the next chapter, I want you to remember this line. Success is not something you achieve, it's something you accumulate. And tomorrow's accumulation begins with what you choose to do today. In the next chapter, we move into the habit that separates consistent growth from constant overwhelm, handling what's in front of you, before it turns into chaos. This is where your momentum starts accelerating. This is where your days begin to feel lighter, clearer, more controlled. This is where you stop drowning in unfinished tasks and start moving with clarity and power. Take a breath, because we're about to go deeper. Chapter 3. Clear the small chaos before it grows. Every day, before you can get better, you must face something most people avoid. The small chaos, the small pile, the small delay, the small mess, the small task you keep pushing to later. These tiny pockets of disorder seem harmless, but they carry a hidden cost. They drain mental energy. They build stress slowly. They clutter your focus. They steal the bandwidth needed for growth. Most people underestimate the power of small chaos. They think the big obstacles hold them back. But often, it's the tiny, repeated bits of disorder that stall progress. It's the email you haven't answered, the bill you haven't sorted, the clothes you haven't folded, the phone call you keep delaying, the notification you ignore but don't clear. Each tiny item says to your mind, you're behind. And when your mind believes you're behind, growth feels impossible. This is why the most disciplined people in the world don't just master big goals. They master the small order. They handle what's in front of them before it becomes overwhelming. They don't wait for chaos to grow teeth. They dissolve it while it's still soft. Let's break down why this habit builds daily improvement. 1. Small chaos creates mental fatigue. A cluttered desk is not just messy. A cluttered room is not just disorderly. A cluttered phone is not just disorganized. These things create cognitive load, a quiet drain on your attention, a subtle friction against your discipline. Even if you ignore the chaos consciously, your mind does not. When you remove small chaos, you free mental space. And with space comes clarity. And with clarity comes focus. And with focus comes growth. 2. Order builds identity faster than intention. You cannot think your way into discipline. You act your way into discipline. When you handle the small things, quickly, consistently, immediately, your brain absorbs a powerful message. I am someone who takes control. Identity is shaped through behavior, and nothing shapes identity faster than small actions done consistently. 3. The 2-minute rule for instant control. Here's a rule to tattoo onto your day. If it takes 2 minutes or less, do it now. Don't negotiate, don't delay, don't bargain with your mind. Just do it. Send the message, organize the paper, wash the cup, answer the question, clean the counter, put the item away. 2 minutes is short enough that your brain feels no resistance, yet powerful enough that the cumulative effect transforms your environment. 2-minute wins build a day that feels lighter, and a lighter day is easier to grow in. 4. Eliminate before you add. You don't need to add more habits, more routines, more goals, more tasks. You often need to subtract. Remove the unneeded. Remove what drains you. Remove what delays you. Remove what clutters your space or mind. Elimination is improvement. Subtraction is growth. Simplification is power. You can't climb with rocks in your pockets. 5. Order creates momentum. And momentum creates mastery. Have you ever cleaned a single corner of your room and suddenly felt compelled to clean more? That's the power of micro-momentum. Your brain loves progress, especially visible progress. When you clear small chaos, you activate the circuits of momentum, making the next task easier, the next win smoother, the next habit more natural. Order is a launch pad. Chaos is quicksand. The more you reduce the chaos, the more you rise. And now that you understand external order, we turn to something even more important, your mental environment. Because your surroundings shape your day, but your thoughts shape your life. And that brings us into the next chapter. Chapter 4. Your thoughts set your daily trajectory. Here is a truth that can change the direction of your entire life. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your growth. Small improvements don't begin in action. They begin in attention, in awareness, in what you decide to focus on. Your thoughts each morning are the steering wheel that determines whether your day moves toward progress, stagnation, or decline. Let's explore how to train your mind to think in ways that support daily growth. 1. Your first thought of the day matters more than you think. Your brain wakes up in a neutral state. What you think first determines your mental momentum. Most people begin with, I'm tired. I don't want to work. There's too much to do. I'm already behind. And that sets the tone for the entire day. What if you consciously chose your first thought? What if you told your mind, today I grow. Today I get 1% better. Today I show up. Today I honor my potential. You would be amazed how quickly your actions follow. A guided mind grows. A distracted mind repeats old patterns. 2. Train your brain to see opportunities, not obstacles. Every day presents both. Reasons to quit. Reasons to grow. Whatever your mind looks for, it will find. Train yourself to ask, what is the opportunity in front of me today? What is the lesson hiding inside this challenge? What is the smallest improvement I can make right now? These questions shift your mind from victimhood to ownership, from helplessness to power, from stagnation to growth. 3. Replace self-judgment with self-adjustment. People who improve every day do not shame themselves for mistakes. They correct, they recalibrate, they continue. Self-judgment slows growth. Self-adjustment accelerates it. The question is never, why am I like this? The real question is, what is the next best step I can take from here? Growth is forward-facing. Regret is backward-facing. Choose forward. 4. Your mind becomes what you feed it. What you consume daily, consciously or unconsciously, shapes your identity. What you read, what you watch, what you scroll, what you listen to, what conversations you entertain, everything is brain fuel. You cannot expect strength from a mind fed with weakness. You cannot expect clarity from a mind filled with noise. Think of your attention as the soil of your life. Whatever you plant grows. Feed your mind with learning, inspiration, challenges, silence, reflection, and your identity will evolve in the same direction. 5. Momentum begins in your thoughts. Before it appears in your actions, before you ever take a step, before you ever build a habit, before you ever change a pattern, your mind must tilt toward the path you want. Small improvements begin internally before they express externally. Daily growth begins mentally before it becomes visible physically. So ask yourself, what thought will I choose today that creates a better version of me tomorrow? Let that question echo as we enter the next chapter, because now we dive into the mechanics of how habits actually form. The truth most people never learn. The truth that makes change easier or impossible. Chapter 5. How habits actually form. The part no one explains. Friend, write your opinion on this topic in the comments. Do you agree with us or not? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Most people think habits are built through willpower. They think discipline is about trying harder. They think improvement is about forcing yourself. Not quite. Habits don't come from force. Habits come from structure, from clarity, from simplicity, from repetition that is easier to sustain than avoid. The truth is this: your brain is designed to automate anything repeated enough times, whether it's good for you or not. So the question is never, am I forming habits? You are, every day. The real question is, am I forming the right habits? Let's break down how habits truly form, using the psychology behind behavior loops, neurological reward cycles, and identity reinforcement. 1. The habit loop: cue, action, reward. Every habit has 3 parts. Cue, something triggers the urge; action, the behavior you repeat; reward, the feeling or outcome that reinforces it. Most people try to change the action, but ignore the cue and misunderstand the reward. Let's look at an example. You feel stressed. That's the cue. You open your phone and start scrolling. That's the action. For a moment, stress reduces. That's the reward. Your brain learns, when stressed, scroll. Even if scrolling worsens your life, the brain only cares about one thing. Did this reduce discomfort? This is why bad habits are easy to form. They offer instant relief. And why good habits are harder to build. They offer delayed reward. But once you understand the loop, you can break it. You can rebuild it. You can design your habits intentionally. 2. Make the good habits easier than the bad ones. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So the trick to daily improvement is simple. Make good habits so easy your brain stops resisting. Examples. Sleep in your workout clothes so the cue is automatic. Put your journal on your pillow so you must pick it up before bed. Keep your book on the countertop so reading becomes the default. Keep your phone in another room so distraction requires effort. Prep water the night before so hydration is frictionless. The less friction your habits require, the more consistently you perform them. Consistency is not about trying harder, it's about removing resistance. 3. Identity-based habits. Become the type of person who does the thing. Most people say, I want to read more. I want to work out. I want to be productive. But those are goals, not identities. Identity-based habits flip the script. Instead of saying, I want to read, say, I am a reader. Instead of saying, I want to be healthy, say, I'm a person who prioritizes health. Instead of saying, I want to get organized, say, I am someone who keeps things in order. Identity precedes action. When your identity shifts, your behavior follows naturally. This is the most powerful psychological leverage in personal transformation. 4. Repetition is more important than intensity. A 5-hour workout once a week is nothing compared to a 10-minute workout every day. A huge burst of motivation is nothing compared to small, repeated effort. Because repetition reshapes your brain. Repetition strengthens neural circuits. Repetition turns a behavior from an action into an automation. Intensity looks impressive. Repetition builds identity. If you want to get better every day, focus less on the size of the effort and more on the consistency of the effort. 5. Never miss twice. This rule alone will protect your progress for life. Missing once is a mistake. Missing twice becomes a pattern. You will miss days. Everyone does. Life will interrupt you. Circumstances will shift. But if you ensure that the day after a miss you return immediately, you prevent the slide. 1 miss? Normal. 2 misses? Dangerous. 3 misses? The habit is gone. This rule keeps your growth alive even during chaotic seasons. 6. The minimum viable effort. Principle. There will be days you're exhausted, days you're overwhelmed, days you feel like doing nothing. On those days, do the minimum viable effort. 1 push-up, 1 page read, 1 minute of journaling, 1 glass of water, 1 corner cleaned, 1 task moved forward. This tiny action keeps the habit alive and keeps identity intact. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is preservation. Now that you understand how habits truly form, we move into the next chapter, a chapter that shifts you from passive improvement to deliberate mastery. Because getting 1% better is not only about what you do, it's also about what you remove. It's time to talk about distraction. The silent thief of progress. Chapter 6. Remove distractions. The secret to uninterrupted growth. If you want to become unstoppable, if you want to wake up a year from now shocked by your own evolution, then understand this. The biggest threat to your daily improvement is distraction, not failure, not lack of time, not lack of motivation, distraction. Because distraction steals the only resource you cannot recover, focused attention. Every time you lose focus, you lose momentum. You lose clarity. You lose the invisible compounding that makes daily growth exponential. Let's break down how to eliminate distraction so you can finally create a life of deep, meaningful, unstoppable progress. 1. Cluttered attention creates a cluttered identity. Your attention shapes your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your decisions. Your decisions shape your habits. Your habits shape your identity. So when your attention is scattered, your identity becomes fragmented. You are high. Distracted mind cannot grow consistently. It jumps, it resets, it forgets, it goes in circles. But a focused mind compounds. 2. Digital distraction is designed to win unless you change the rules. Your phone is not neutral. Your apps are not neutral. Your notifications are not neutral. They are engineered, curated, optimized, designed to capture attention and hold it. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day, not because they want to, but because the digital environment has been built to invade their attention. To get better every day, you must reclaim your mind. Turn off non-essential notifications. Remove apps from your home screen. Use grayscale mode. Create no phone hours. Leave your phone in another room while you work. If you don't control your environment will control you. 3. The law of one focus. Multitasking is a lie. Humans don't multitask. They task switch, and task switching destroys productivity. Your mind improves faster when it gives full attention to one task at a time. Choose your daily one focus. What is the one thing today that, if completed, moves my life forward 1%? Do that first. Do it deeply. Do it without interruption. That one act alone is enough to change your entire year. 4. Environment beats willpower. Every time want to read more? Keep books visible. Hide distractions. Want to exercise more? Make the workout easy to start. Want to study more? Remove clutter from your workspace. Your environment should push you toward your habits without you having to think about it. A frictionless environment is a growth environment. 5. Protect your focus like it's wealth, because it is. Focus determines your income, your opportunities, your creativity, your confidence, your growth, your future. People protect their money carefully, but let anyone steal their attention. From this day forward, guard your attention as the asset it truly is. Now, we step into a powerful truth, one that will change how you see progress forever. Daily improvement requires emotional mastery as much as it requires behavioral mastery. And that is where we go next. Chapter 7. Emotional Mastery. The engine behind daily improvement. Here's the truth that so many people ignore. You cannot get better every day if your emotions control your actions. Because habits are easy when you feel good. Discipline is easy when you're motivated. Growth is easy when the path is clear and your energy is high. But what about the days you feel tired, irritated, stressed, discouraged, overwhelmed, numb, disconnected, unmotivated? Those days decide your future. Those are the days that separate people who grow from people who try. Getting better every day is not about avoiding hard emotions. It's about learning how to act despite them. Let's break down emotional mastery through the lens of tiny daily improvements. 1. Your emotions are signals, not commands. Most people obey their emotions. They feel discomfort and immediately stop. They feel anxious and avoid the task. They feel discouraged and lose consistency. But your emotions are not meant to be instructions. They are meant to be information, signals, indicators, not final decisions. When you treat emotions as signals, you regain control. I feel resistance. That means this matters. I feel anxiety. That means I'm stretching. I feel tired. That means I need structure, not surrender. I feel fear. That means I'm entering new territory. Growth begins when you stop obeying emotional impulses and start interpreting them. 2. The 2-minute emotional pause before reacting, before quitting, before spiraling into old patterns. Pause. Just 2 minutes. Take a breath. Let the emotion expand. Let it exist without pushing it away. Because emotions that are resisted grow stronger. Emotions that are acknowledged lose their power. That 2-minute pause is enough to keep you from slipping into behaviors that sabotage your daily improvement. Patience with your mind is a form of emotional discipline. 3. Don't aim for emotional perfection. Aim for emotional progress. You don't need to feel amazing to grow. You don't need to erase negative emotions. You don't need constant confidence. You just need to feel a little more in control than yesterday. That alone is progress. For example, yesterday you reacted instantly. Today you paused for 1 second. That is emotional growth. Yesterday you avoided the task completely. Today you worked on it for 2 minutes. That is emotional growth. Yesterday you spiraled when discouraged. Today you redirected your focus after a few minutes. That is emotional growth. The 1% rule applies to emotions too. Small improvements accumulate into stability, clarity, self-trust, and calm. 4. The rule of emotional replacement. You cannot simply stop feeling something. Emotions don't evaporate. They must be replaced. Replace stress with structure. Replace overwhelm with priorities. Replace fear with preparation. Replace doubt with evidence from your past wins. Replace boredom with curiosity or challenge. You create emotional growth when you substitute unhelpful states with helpful actions. Your body learns, your brain learns, your identity learns. 5. Emotional consistency. Beats emotional intensity. Just like habits, emotional growth is not about huge breakthroughs. It's about developing the capacity to stay steady a little longer each day. Every time you remain calm, 1 minute longer than you would have yesterday, you grow. Every time you breathe instead of explode, you grow. Every time you stay with discomfort instead of running from it, you grow. Emotional mastery is the foundation that allows all other habits to flourish. Without it, discipline collapses. With it, daily improvement becomes inevitable. And now it's your turn. Your final call to action. If this audiobook spoke to you, if something inside you awakened, if you felt clarity, power, or determination rising, then seal it by leaving a comment. I choose 1% today. Not for me, but as a public commitment to your next 24 hours. If a line hit you, hit like so you can find it again on the days you forget your strength. If you want more long-form guidance, cinematic storytelling, and ultra-deep motivational audiobooks like this, subscribe so you never drift away from the path you've chosen. And if you know someone who is capable of more but stuck in place, share this with them. You might change their year. You might change their life. And final line. Your future is built in the smallest hour of your day. Improve that hour, and you improve everything. Thank you for listening. Now go build the life your future self will be proud of.